What are your feelings on Rojava?
For those who may not know, the Kurdish population in West Asia is really distributed because there is no Kurdish country between Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and there's also a diaspora and so on. But during the war in Syria, northeastern Syria, and actually most of the Syrian-Turkish border, but mainly northeastern Syria, was a place where the Syrian army, the Syrian Arab army, retreated back to defend Damascus and some of the cities in southern Syria, including Daraa and so on, and left the northeastern part to the Kurdish political parties, which had fashioned a militia group called the YPG, which is a kind of People's Protection Army, People's Protection Group, which had emerged up there, basically controlled by northern Syrian Kurdish political forces. Well, because they had now been able to take charge of that area, they constituted themselves as an independent republic, or at least an autonomous region called Rojava. And this region, was, of course, not able to survive by itself. One of the interesting problems that the Kurdish movement faces is that a large majority of Kurds who live in Turkey live in Istanbul and in the neighboring areas of Istanbul, over 1 million or so. In fact, people say that the working class in Istanbul is basically Kurdish. And that population is not prepared to go and live in southeastern Turkey, in the area contiguous to Rojava. So on the one side, you had a Turkish government highly opposed to any move of Kurdish autonomy. On the other side, you had the Syrian army, which had basically just moved away from that area. So this Rojava that was created, guys, was always a temporary solution. It was never going to be permanent because, neither Turkey nor Syria were prepared to allow an independent Kurdish republic to be created there. The question has been for the Kurdish leadership is not any longer actually creating an independent country. They are fighting for autonomy or minority rights or one or the above. Even in Iraqi Kurdistan, that is in northern Iraq, in the towns of Erbil and Kirkuk and so on, there's no expectation of creating an independent country. It's rights, not country. So my sense is that in the United States, the left, I think, exaggerated Rojava as if it was going to be a sort of anarchist paradise or whatever. But even the people there were not expecting this to be a permanent country, to emerge. They were using that to leverage for more rights for the Kurds inside Syria and Kurds inside Turkey. In fact, the PKK, the Kurdish Workers' Party, their head, who's been in prison for a long time, Abdullah Öcalan, he is out there for more rights for the Kurdish people, not for independence any longer. Just a few days ago, the main political party of the Turkish left and also of Kurdish emancipation, the People's Democratic Party, HDP, 108 members of that party, including all the leaders, were in a court because the Turkish government is trying to ban their party. I mean, it's a terrible situation. Between Turkey and the anvil of Turkey and the hammer of the war in Syria, the Kurds are having it tough, fellas, tough. And let's not just idealize things, Rojava, it's the future and so on. It was tough in Rojava, and the town of Kobane was obliterated by US bombing. It was obliterated by the war against ISIS. That was a principal town in Rojava. So I don't want to go into this direction of, it's a paradise and so on. It's not true. And we shouldn't exaggerate these things that happen in different countries. When the Italian communists went to meet Ho Chi Minh in the mid-60s, few years before he died, they asked him, how do we help you? And Ho Chi Minh said, we don't need your help. Go home and make a revolution.
Damn.